Good morning. Today is day 7, the final day of the reading rush. Before I even get into anything, I did want to say that I have seen all the things on Twitter and Instagram about what the reading rush did, picking a book by a black author that discusses performative activism and then not reading it. I understand the implications of that, and me participating in this readathon does not mean whatsoever that I condone nor do I support the reading rush and their recent decisions. I watched their live show, and they literally, one got 50 pages in and one got 20 pages in, which is just so disgusting to me to pick such an important book for a group book and then to only read 50 and 20 pages of it. That just seems super irresponsible, and like they were using that book for their own wokeness and then not even reading it. It just is really shady to me. They could have just postponed the live show and they made it just like a stupid Q&A. So I do not support them or what they did. Their apology was pretty bogus. It seemed pretty excusatory, if that's even a word. But just wanted to say, me participating does not mean that I support them. Now, on to day 7. So I had considered not even finishing this, but I want to. I don't know. I finished editing my day 1 vlog. I'm gonna go eat breakfast and stuff. And then when I come back, I'm going to upload it and, like, compile the thumbnail and upload it. But the one book that I want to read today is In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken. I'm so excited to read this book. I love The Darkest Minds. It is, like, one of my favorite series. I loved The Darkest Minds when I read it. I loved Never Fade, and I cannot wait to read the 3rd book. It is pretty long. I think it's 530 pages. But I read The Darkest Minds and Never Fade super quickly, so I'm really excited to do that. Also, I want to get the audiobook because I desperately need to clean my room. It is a mess, so I'm definitely going to do that. And we'll see where the day takes us. I'm just really excited to read that book. And it counts for the challenge of read a book that is, inspired by a movie you've already seen. I explained it in my TBR. I'm really excited to read that book, and I'm kind of upset that it's day 7 and it's the last day. But I have a feeling that I'm really gonna love this book, so I'm really excited to read it. I think I said excited maybe 20 times. But, yeah, I'm gonna go eat breakfast, come back, make my bed, and upload my video. So I will check back in once I've done that, and once I have decided to start reading. So it is probably an hour or so later, and I am about 100 pages into In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken. I am really enjoying it so far. I really love Alexandra Bracken. I always have fun reading her books, and I always have a good time. I would say I do like The Darkest Minds more than the Passenger Duology. For me, the Passenger Duology was a little too description heavy for a book in a series that required really high caliber action and fast pacing. I think this is great. It has just like the perfect amount of descriptions for me. The writing is really beautiful, and I do really like all the characters, and I'm just having a good time. The prologue of this book was so freaking intense. It was like a page, and it was like a little over a page long, but it was really intense. And this, also, something that I realized, this book is really reminding me of Ignite Me, which is the 3rd book in the Shatter Me series, and it was the 3rd book, or it is the 3rd book, and it was supposed to be the finale before the other 3 books were added. And it's not my favorite one in the series. My favorite is Unravel Me, but Ignite Me is my 2nd favorite. So it's probably a good sign that this is reminding me of that. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I know a lot of people say that this series is slow-paced as well. I disagree. I do think it is on the slower side for a dystopian, but it's the perfect pace for me. I don't think it is too fast. I mean, I don't think it's too slow. So I'm really just feeling great. I'm like a fifth of the way through, and I'm really excited to read it for the rest of the day. I don't have really much to add. I am going to go eat lunch and take a break from reading. I'm probably going to read like another 100 pages after lunch, so I'll update you when that happens. But I'm going to go decompress and watch some TV and eat some lunch, so I will check in afterward. So it has been a little while, but I'm on page 220 of In the Afterlight. I'm still really enjoying it. It is getting a tad slow for my taste, but I'm sure it'll pick up in the next couple of chapters. I'm really enjoying it. I really love seeing Ruby's internal struggles. I feel like they are really valid, and I feel like a lot of the times you don't get to see like the turmoil that exists in someone's mind when they are in situations like these. Like, Ruby is in a terrible situation, and she has lost basically everything, and she feels so alone, and it's really sad because she's going through that, and you're in her mind, and so you feel alone because she feels alone, and it's really freaking sad. But I'm gonna go read the next, like, 80 or so pages so I can get to page 300. Then I'm gonna have, like, a little over 200 pages to read tonight. So I'm gonna go start and update you once I have gotten a little bit of the way in. Okay, so I literally have read 20 pages more of In the Afterlight, so I'm on page 240 now. But I'm gonna go eat dinner. But I did just want to mention, I love how Alexandra Bracken, like, does not hold back whatsoever. She, like, doesn't, like, what should I say? She is not afraid of, like, going there, and she just went there in the last chapter that I read. Like, it was terrifying and kind of nasty, but I thought it was really well done, and I like how she doesn't sugarcoat. And even though this isn't, like, based on a true story or anything, there are truths in it, and there is reality woven into the fiction. So I really love it, and it is kind of unsettling, but it's supposed to be, so I don't mind that much. Right now, I would say Never Fade is probably my favorite book in the series. I just really loved that one. This one is meandering for a little longer than I would personally like, but I'm basically halfway through, kind of. So, I'm gonna try to read like 100 pages after a shower. Then we're gonna watch something, and then hopefully I can finish this book before midnight. If I don't, I mean, it's fine, since I did read 7 books today, this week. But I would really love to, especially since none of the other challenges would count for the one that this one is. So, yeah, I'm gonna go, and I really hope I can finish this, because I really want to, and I think it'll be fun. Oh, also, I noticed that underneath the dust jacket, there is this thing. So that's cool. Overall, really, really enjoying it, but I'm gonna take a break to eat my dinner, and then check back in once I have gotten further into the book. So, as you can tell, it is quite a bit later, and I am now about 350 pages into my book, In the Afterlight. I'm still really enjoying it. I would say, right now, if I had to rank them, this would be my least favorite, just by default. But it's still, like, I don't think this is gonna get any less than a 4 stars. So, I'm still obviously really enjoying it. I love how, like, Ruby's mind is so, like, she's in such a weird mental state. Like, being in her mind, it's very gritty, and she has, like, a lot of layers. Like, most of them are dark, and most of them are depressing and sad, and Alexandra Bracken does not hold back whatsoever. She's not afraid to delve deep into the dark parts of Ruby's subconscious, and I love that about this series. How Ruby is just wholeheartedly herself, and the things that have happened to her have resulted in her being this type of person, And she is, like, fully realized. She's, like, three-dimensional, 100%. And I love the way that Alexandra Bracken explores that, so I really like the way that she explores characters. I think it's really interesting the way that she does that, and I like how it's almost sort of like these books are a character study from where Ruby started in the prologue of The Darkest Minds to where she is right now, and in the Afterlight. It's such a big arc, but it was gradual, and it was done super well. So I'm excited to see how she ends up in the end of this book. I'm confused because there is a collection of short stories called Through the Dark, and it's like a collection of novellas. One takes place between book 1 and book 2, one takes place between book 2 and book 3, and one takes place after book 3, and I wonder who those are about. I don't know if they are side characters that we've met, or if they are new people sort of involved with the Psy-verse. So I'm interested to read those. I don't know if you're technically supposed to read them in between the books. I obviously didn't, but I am interested in reading that book, and I feel like it would be really fun to read it after in the Afterlight. And then I do have The Darkest Legacy over there. I have an arc of it, which I have had for like 2 years, and I still have not read it, so love that. But yeah, back to this. I'm still really, really enjoying it. It's probably like 7:30. Oh, by the way, I'm more than halfway through, so 5:30 minus 350 is, well, that's 150. So I have 180-ish pages left. So, yeah, I'm hoping I can finish. But right now I'm going to take a break. I believe it's like 7:30. It's not completely dark out yet. So I think I'm going to go be a complete nerd and play chess with my mom. And then I'm hopefully going to get a little bit further into In the Afterlight. And then we'll see what else we're going to do today. About the Instagram picture. I don't know if I'm going to take it today or tomorrow. I am going to film probably the last clip of this vlog tomorrow morning to, like, wrap up the books that I read and stuff like that. So I might just show the pictures then. I'm not really sure, but I might post the book stack picture because I didn't do that yet. So I might do that, and then I will probably take what was supposed to be yesterday's photo, maybe later tonight or maybe tomorrow, and post it. So that's how I'm feeling about the Instagram challenge. I really don't want to do day 7s just because it seems like a lot of work, but I might. So yeah, I don't really know what else I had to say, but I'm gonna go. So goodbye. So it is like 11:15, and I have finished In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken, my final book for the readathon, my 8th book that I finished this week, which is crazy. And as I said, this counted for read a book inspired by a movie you've already seen. I really enjoyed this book. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I read those last like 190 pages or whatever all in one sitting just now, so I'm like it's still pretty fresh in my brain, like a lot of this book. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I loved all the character development. I loved where all the characters ended up, even though I'm pretty sad about one of the characters. But yeah, I really liked the ending, and it honestly came like full circle to me, and I just loved the way that it ended. Those last couple of scenes, there was one about where Ruby was talking about Thurmond near the end, and if you probably know what I'm talking about. And then the last scene of the book was so cute, and it came full circle, and I loved it. So I really, really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed this series. I think Never Fate is still my favorite. I think this book and The Darkest Minds are pretty tied. This one was a little slow, and it did meander for a little while. I think this book could have been under 500 pages, but it didn't really deter my enjoyment of the story, and I had really a fun time reading it. I probably wouldn't have finished this entire book if I didn't enjoy it, so, like, all in one day is what I'm saying. So I really liked it. Don't really have much else to say. It is very gritty and dark and damp. Is that the right word? Or dank, or what is the word? I can't remember. Or drab, that is the word. And so, like, the setting and where they were for, like, the majority of this book was, like, pretty depressing, and it was just, like, gray and, like, ugh. Like, I feel like this thing under the dust jacket pretty much summarizes. Like, it was just very, I don't know, drab is the best word that I can use to describe it. Also, being in Ruby's head for this entire book at points was pretty rough, and, like, not a fun place to be in. But I really love, the way that her character, like, came about, and I love one of the, like, one of the last scenes. The entire last chapter was just so good, and I loved the way that something from the beginning of The Darkest Minds was wrapped up in this book, and it was just great. I loved it. It was like, it's like a, what am I trying to say? It was a great finale, and the way it ended was just perfect in my eyes. And yeah, it's really hard to pull off a finale, but this book did it really, really well, and I enjoyed myself a ton. So 4 out of 5 stars, definitely. This is definitely one of my favorite series, and I cannot wait to read the short story collection and The Darkest Legacy, because I really want to learn more about Zoo's character, especially. So I'm really excited to read those. Maybe it'll take a year, but I'm still really excited. I had a really great time participating in this readathon this week, and while the things with the readathon and, like, the creators, like, slash hosts weren't the best, weren't ideal, I still had a blast doing this readathon and reading for an entire week. It's one of my favorite times of the year, and I just love it. Vlogging for a week and reading for a week, it's just really, really fun. So I hope you enjoyed watching me vlog as much as I enjoyed doing it, and I hope you got some reading done this week as well. But that is it for this vlog. I'm going to cut to future me, wrapping up all of the books that I read for the readathon. Hello! So it is more than a few days later. I was planning on filming this on, like, Tuesday. That didn't frickin' happen. It is Saturday, and I'm finally filming this wrap-up. But, basically I'm just gonna go through all the books that I read in order, tell you the title, the author, the page count, my star rating, and what challenge I counted for. So let's just get started. So the first book that I read was The Camelot Betrayal by Kiersten White. This was 368 pages, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. And this counted for the challenge of read a book that starts with the word the. On day 2, I read Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab, which was 287 pages, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars as well, more like a 4.5. And this counted for the challenge of read a book set on a continent that is other than the continent you live on. I live in North America, and this book takes place in Europe. On day 3, I read A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green, which I gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. This book was 449 pages, and it counted for the challenge of read a book set in a genre that you do not normally read, or, like, in a genre that you don't normally read. Then I read A Pocket Full of Rye by Agatha Christie, which I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars, and this book was 239 pages, and I ended up, and it counted for the challenge, sorry, I'm, like, totally just gone, and it counted for the challenge of read a book outside, or, like, near a window or something. Then I read 450 from Paddington, which counted for the same challenge, by Agatha Christie, and this book was 271 pages. On day 5, I read my favorite book of the readathon, Shah and the Tree of Wishes by Roshani Chokshi, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars, and this book had 374 pages, and it counted for the challenge of read the first book you touch. On day 6, I read Out of the Easy by Ruta Sepetys, which I gave 2.75 out of 5 stars, This book had 346 pages, and it counted for the challenge of read a book that matches the color of your birthstone. And then on the final day, day 7, I read In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken, which was 535 pages, and I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, and it counted for the challenge of read a book that is based on a movie you've already seen. So all in all, I read 8 books for the readathon. I really enjoyed some, like I loved some, I really enjoyed some, felt okay about some, and I didn't like a couple. But that's okay. But that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!